Well, howdy.
What you doing out here? A couple of fellas decided to hold up the farming bank. Whoa! They were last seen driving in this direction. They ain't here. These boys took old Tom Fontaine's daughter with them. Not by her volunteer, of course.
What's that got to do with me?
How far does the scream travel out here, Wyatt?
Not too far.
Hello?
I know you're there!
Hi. So we go from that trailer to End All Trailers to the elephants.
The elephants, yes, what an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, it is a pleasure.
So let's talk about Carnage Park, which I know really blew it up at Sundance.
It did,
You
yes.
see me trying to make a pun off the, with the gun and
Open the windows, get that pun out of here. Just get that
Bye-bye
out
pun.
of here. It felt special doing it. It was such an incredible crew. Mickey Keating, the director, is the real deal, honestly and truly. Diablo Entertainment, who produced it. It was such an awesome, warm set, and it felt like it had that X
It's a warm
factor.
set?
But in the desert.
No, but I'm
Get
actually
that pun
saying
out of
it's
here.
the movie is so intense. It's a crime drama.
It was, yeah. So Carnage Park is action sniper thriller set in the 1970s, and it's a hostage situation that goes awry that turns into a most dangerous game. So it's people hunting people, as you've seen, and getting the chance to premiere at Sundance. I mean, it's the ultimate honor. As an actress, it's something you hope you get the chance to do. You can't work towards that. You just do the work, but then to be there and to pile in at the midnight crowd and everybody's sitting there kind of getting team scared, it was surreal.
What is it like sitting in the audience and getting, when the response is positive like it was from this one?
It was great. I sat at the back of the audience. I have to admit, watching myself on camera I'm the biggest scaredy cat. I watch like I'm watching a horror movie. I watch in between, crossed hands.
That's actually a question I had for you.
Totally nervous. But I watched everybody's shoulders. And when the scares are coming, and they just they turn into cats. They protect themselves, they scream, they jump out of their seats. It was really great.
So you and I have that in common, the inability to watch horror movies.
Yes. Yeah, well, but that has not stopped me. I'm terribly addicted to horror movies. And this is the thing, growing up, my summers were me and my dad and my rescue animals and my scooter, pretty much. And I would camp out and make forts in my backyard all during the day, and then at night I would go to Blockbuster with my dad and rent horror movies. And I think I saw The Exorcist when I was 8. I know, I saw Pumpkinhead, Tremors, The Gate, House, everything. And I think it's just led to an unhealthy active imagination.
Well, it has served you well, clearly.
Well, thank you.
And can we just say your mom founded the Groundlings, which
Yes.
is 900 kinds of incredible.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
What was it like growing up?
It was the best childhood ever, knock on wood. I would spend the summers, my mom was still working at the Groundlings and has always been active there, so I would go to rehearsals and just hang out in the audience and watch her become these characters, and it was always wonderful to see because, you know, for my mom, being a part of the Groundlings, that's when her career really started taking off, and she felt so comfortable in her skin. You know, she got a call from a friend that said, "There's this guy named Gary Austin, he's having improv classes in his garage. Do you want to come with me?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I guess that sounds like fun." And that was the beginning of the Groundlings.
What is your most visceral memory of being in the audience there?
Oh, my mom did a sketch called Reunion, which opened the show for forever and ever. And she brought that back again. And it just, it killed, you know? It was still relevant, still totally real. And I guess kind of watching my mom get ready to go on stage, there's always, you know, in the Groundlings, they have a saying, you wig out. And you put on wigs and get into character that way. I mean, the characters are still internal, but it's the ability to transform, and that was always really, really fascinating to me.
And was that the genesis of you wanting to become an actress?
Yes, I definitely think so, yes. Between both of my parents.
I guess you had no chance, right?
Literally, well, my grandfather ran away at 7 years old to join the circus. So it began there, and then both of my grandparents were in vaudeville. They toured on the Keith Orphean circuit, and then between the Groundlings and voiceover, I was doomed from the start.
But do you remember the first time where you really kind of felt that jolt? Where you were like, this is what I want to do with my life?
Yeah, it was. I think it happened. I think it happened when I was doing a one-woman show. I did a one-woman show, not on my life. It was my high school project, and it was called Acting Served Cold. It was a cold reading acting class that I'd been to enough acting classes in LA, and I was bored to death. So I began taking notes. So I made a show where I played the teacher and like 7 other people on stage, and I workshopped this with Phyllis Katz at the Groundlings. And it was the ability to get a physical gesture for each character, start changing voice, start changing tempos, start changing and working that way, and then finding the internal spark to kind of spark them off, and then switching between the 8 characters, that kind of having that frenetic nature of doing that, that's what made my mind start going a mile a minute, and I began to get out and out and out of myself. And you're a teenager, you know, talk about horror movies, just go to junior high. It's awful. So it's working that way, it just got me so far out of myself, and that became why I wanted to do what I do.
And then here you are at Sundance premiering a really well-reviewed film.
Thank you so much.
What was production like on this? Was it, you said it was very fun and easy, but certainly doesn't translate in the final product, which is so like hardwired and intense.
Definitely, yes. On the first day of filming, there's a scene where my character is getting shot at, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, well, first of all, another day at the office, great. They'll CGI the shots in, and I show up to set, and they say, okay, Ashley, we'd like to introduce you. Here's your sniper. And I was like, my what? And they're like, yeah, this is your sniper. He's going to be shooting live rounds of dirt pellets at you. And I was like, well, first of all, how are you? Would you like a foot rub? Can I get you a latte? Second,
They're like, start running.
Second, I was like, literally, is this going to hurt? He's like, no, only if I hit you. So I ran for dear life.
How do you prepare for that?
I did the zigzag run. I did everything. Mickey was just like, the director was just like, just run. Just run fast.
What's been the strangest thing you've ever had to do for a role? Was it this? Running from a pellet gun?
Strangest thing. I'd honestly have to say some of the stuff for The Last Exorcism. And it began in the audition. When I auditioned for The Last Exorcism, for the callback, they actually had me get exercised for the callback. So I was sitting in a chair, and I asked to lay down, and they said, oh yeah, good, go for it. Go ahead. So I lay down, and there was this wonderful actor doing the audition with me, and he did a whole Conjuring, and we did an exorcism on Santa Monica Boulevard in Sweetser, in a small office building. Yes, it's great. That's what was my job.
Well,
it's what you live to do.
I mean, you're right. It's not boring. Just another day at the office, indeed.
Just another day at the office, yes.
What was the toughest part of shooting this movie?
Carnage Park.
I bet you there wasn't, because it's always the movies that look the toughest to shoot that wind up being the most, that people say are the most fun, the easiest, the most laid back.
Absolutely. You know, I honestly, I'd have to, for me, like, working is always vacation. It's in between the jobs. It's the auditioning that becomes work. You know, when you're on set, you're with people that are experts at their profession. You know, Mickey just talking about film is incredible. There was fantastic producers. I got a chance to collaborate and weigh in on my dress, weigh in on the jewelry I was wearing. They let me wear some of my mom's jewelry from the 70s. To be a part of indie film in that sense, in every sense, in that, you know, it's not film and art by committee. It's film that's individual, and it's exciting to work that way. You know what I mean? And you're in this playground, truly. You know, actors, you have to wait and be asked to dance, so to speak. So when you get that opportunity, it just doesn't, I don't mean to sound like Pollyanna about this, but it doesn't feel like work. It feels great, you know? It's
I mean, how lucky are we basically to be paid to do what we love?
and to be paid
yeah.
to do art. You know what I mean? It's art, and it's rare, and that's to be doing something like that, and then furthermore recognized by a place like Sundance. It's so exciting.
Now, for you, what's the key part to getting into character? Is it, in this case, the costume and the jewelry?
Yeah, but Mickey did a lot of rehearsal, and I think that's key for me. You know, I studied at NYU. About 2 years ago, I made my Broadway debut in Machinal. I love rehearsal, and it's so few and far between that you get a chance to do that. There's just no time. But to get a chance to build that character that way, and I got brought on about 2 months before, and I would work with Mickey. He gave me tons of films to watch.
Wait. You had 2 months of rehearsal time at an indie?
2 months of prep.
How is that possible?
It was heaven. It was heaven. I would, like, Mickey gave me...
Literally never heard of that. Like, normally, they're like, oh, we met 4 days before shooting, and then that was it.
I lucked out with this one, truly. And like some indies, you do. You have, like, great, start tomorrow. And it's like, fantastic, let's jive. But for this one, there was time. So Mickey sent over a lot of films just to have a lot of different things running through my head. So I had everything from Three Women to High Tension and everything in between going through my head. And he used a great saying. He wanted to kind of capture lightning in a bottle when we're on screen. And so I got a chance to meet all the actors, Pat Healy, Alan Ruck, James Hebert. I mean, it's a phenomenal cast. And to kind of look at them in the eye, shake their hand, and know we're going to that place. And to be like, okay, we're good. Let's go have fun. Let's go play.
And I have to say, acting aside, I want to bring it back a little bit to the elephants,
Yes,
because
thank
this
you.
lady here does some amazing, amazing work. Let's talk about what you do.
Thank you so much. This is my...
Save the elephants.
Save the Elephants. This is my passion project. It's called Love and Bananas. So 3 years ago, I got a call from David Castleman, who is a family friend and actually a lawyer who opened up the Cambodian Wildlife Sanctuary. And it took them 10 years to rescue the first 2 elephants to be released onto the sanctuary. And I said, I'm never compelled to travel or leave. I'm always in town for work. And I said, I've got to go. I've got to film this. This is a happily ever after story. So I pitched it to this great production company, Change for Balance, and we went. When I got there, we flew through smoke to land at the sanctuary. 75% of the forest had been cut down. There was illegal logging and poaching happening on the sanctuary land, and the elephants were covered in scars and abscesses and suffering from dehydration. And I said, well, this is the story that has to be told. And I found out how they got there, and they crossed through a war zone and under a curfew, and they had to be cut free. And I was like, wait, I need to tell that story. Like, I was working with Lex Shallert. She arranged the rescue. And I said, can I come with you on an elephant rescue? And she said, if you can handle it, you can come. And I waited 2.5 years for the call, and we got it actually as I was wrapping Carnage Park, and they said, we found a 70-year-old blind Asian elephant. Her name is Noi Na. Can you be here as soon as possible? We're going to rescue her. And from that call, I was on the back of a truck with Noi Na 7 days later, driving her 450 miles across Thailand through the night to a sanctuary.
What was the rescue like? I mean, how do you even get her on the truck?
Exactly.
Seriously, you have a blind elephant who's probably traumatized, terrified.
That's the thing.
Panicked.
They smell the truck. And for them, I mean, an elephant never forgets, truly. They know the last time they were on the truck and the time before and the fear and all the pain involved with that. So it was a process to get them on. When Lek works with them, it can take sometimes 3 days, sometimes it can take a week. Normally, they just load up the truck with bananas, which is super awesome because they're just hungry, so they come and eat, and then they're on their way. So it's a great trip. But this one was a little bit more rushed due to the nature that we needed to get her out as fast as possible because she wasn't in good health. And then we drove her. I believe the drive was 23 hours across Thailand, and it was insane. Like, we took her. You have to cross through animal checkpoints. You could be turned back at every checkpoint. In the middle of it, she got heat stroke. So in the middle of it, she got heat stroke, and all the mahouts, which are the elephant kind of guards, were asked. We pulled over, and she said, "Everybody get off the truck. Everybody that doesn't need to be here, get off the truck." And I guess I didn't get the memo, so I crawled back on the truck, and we're speeding down the superhighway, barreling, and Noina, her trunk is just deflated, it looks like. And she said she has heat stroke. She could faint, and if she faints, where we all go. So it was, at that point, it was a rush to get her there as fast as possible.
And how is she doing now?
And she found a herd. Spoiler, we made it. Yes, she found a herd. Yes, yeah. So she's doing really well.
What is it like being around them? Like when you're just like this? Like what is that experience like?
Well, Lek Shallard is under there with me. Otherwise, there's no way in hell I would get anywhere that close to them. They're magic. They're truly, and I say that word is batted around so much, but they're truly these magic giants. And what's so interesting is sometimes we were out in the field filming, and suddenly you feel this presence behind you, and you can't hear them because they've got those pads for feet, so they'll pad on up to you, and there's just this massive gray crag with little fuzzies, and the Asian ones have freckles, or some of them have like little rougey cheeks. So they're truly incredible.
And does she know you? Like if you come up to her, does she remember you?
Oh, I'd be touched if she did. That would be the big. I could just retire at that point if Noina remembered me. I think she's more preoccupied with bananas than me, but I'd be truly flattered.
She probably has a boyfriend too.
She probably, yeah. I mean, who am I kidding? She's like living it out. Like,
Don, what's up?
70's the new 40. Like, she's found some hot bull, you know.
So what do you want to do with Save the Elephants? I mean, ideally 5 years from now, where would you like to see the organization?
Yeah, well, Noina is a trekking elephant. So I hope to raise awareness about trekking. What Lek does. So Save Elephant Foundation is Lek Shallard's organization, and what she does is she allows people to go to her sanctuary and be with elephants on their terms. So you don't ride them, you feed them bananas, you pamper a pachyderm, you do all that stuff. So you relate to them on their terms. And she's converting a lot of other trekking camps throughout Thailand, including where Noina came from, into humane sanctuaries. And it's making them a ton financially totally stable that way.
Yeah, because of ecotourism.
Ecotourism, people are, thank God, becoming more and more aware that that is outdated, you know? And to make people aware that if you're going to travel, if you're lucky enough to travel, to do it in a humane way, you know, and that even though they're on the other side of the world, they're a keystone species. You know, though we don't see them every day, though we don't interact with them every day, if they go, God forbid, we don't know the effects that they'll have. You know, luckily, fortunately, I've been lucky enough to talk to a lot of researchers in prepping for this film, and they say we don't give dates anymore because people are, you know, by 2020, the dates come and go, and people are so used to hearing that. Now we give facts. In some parts of southern China, only 20 exist, making them functionally extinct. In some parts, not in all of China. In Vietnam, there's only 75 left. Functionally extinct means that they'll begin inbreeding, and eventually they'll die out. Yeah, so we're there, you know. I think the goal is that just to have an awareness that even though they're so far away, we're all on this planet together, as trite as that sounds, but to be aware that that they could go. We're at that line.
How did you become such an animal activist? Did you grow up with animals?
Yes, my parents raised me a vegetarian. I was born and raised a vegetarian. I missed being at the Groundlings and then in my tree fort and right. Okay, so and always eco-aware. It was a tremendous honor to be named a cruelty-free ambassador. I've always believed in cruelty-free makeup, cruelty-free household products, and it's so easy now. You know, you can check on things on your phone and see a list of everything has that bunny, has the safety thing next to it, and it's not only good for your skin, but it's good for your conscience, and it's also great for the world.
And it makes you feel good about putting on that fabulous red lipstick that you're wearing.
It is cruelty-free. Cruelty-free all the way. Jouet. Cruelty-free, I swear.
And what are you doing next? Are you going to come back to the theater?
Hopefully. I am always open to going back to the theater. I absolutely love doing theater. I have another film coming out called Novitiate. It's about nuns in the 1950s and 60s. I've gone from being possessed to being a good old-fashioned nun. So no chainsaws, no flying, no. So that was an awesome project. Melissa Leo stars in the film. It's a phenomenal script. I actually got the chance to meet with cloistered nuns in Northern California to prepare for that. And
God, your job is so cool.
it's so much fun.
You go from elephants to being shot up with pellet guns to
like hanging out with nuns, being like, cleanse me. Cleanse my soul.
Did you walk out of your meeting with them just feeling lighter and more at peace?
I did, actually. I did. They're everything you think it's going to be and more. Like, they're cloistered, so they go through. I got a chance to participate in a 24-hour prayer cycle. So I woke up for midnight mass and then up again at 5 and then at 7. I think they pray every 2 and 3 hours, and it's the most beautiful chanting you've ever heard in your life. And they talk to me about their vocations, and you look in their eyes, and it's unbelievable. Truly, I'm clearly speechless. Yeah.
Well, and let's turn it over to the audience, please.
Hey, Ashley. Thank you so much for your talent, and more importantly, your activism work. I'm also a big animal person. I'm part of New York Class to help get horse carriages off the streets in New York.
That's fantastic.
Thank
you for your work.
You're very inspiring. To me, I know I've noticed a big trend, especially on the internet, of people who take these exotic vacations to places like Thailand, and they ride these elephants and also take pictures next to drugged up tigers. And to me, it only takes 5 minutes of research to see the realities of what really goes on in these countries. For you, what would be the best way to maybe reach out to these people and tell them that this stuff that goes on is not okay, and they could still take their trips and have fun without partaking in such activities?
Absolutely. I see that all the time, and that was key for us in doing Love and Bananas. You know, you do hashtag trekking, and you see all of these people taking selfies with these creatures that are suffering. I would honestly, to quote Lex Shallert, she said social media. There's the ability now that the behind-the-scenes footage and the knowledge, once the knowledge is hatched, it's out there. It can't go back. So to post videos, though they be hard, or to post facts, or to post elephants just playing in the jungle in their natural habitat where they're meant to be, that counteracts the message. And once the info's out, it's there. You cannot take that back, and people have fought so hard to get it out. Just spread that. And you know, you have an internet culture where, thank God for Cecil, like it was so, people became outraged, and that had been going on forever, but as soon as that's out, you can't get it back. You know what I mean? So to keep on retweeting, spreading the message, getting it out that way, and education at the end of the day will get rid of it. As they say, every animal rights activist has a fur coat somewhere in their closet. I don't, because my parents are animal. But, you know, everybody learns from some place, and it just takes that one seed of learning.
Great answer. Next question, please.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you for being here. What are some household products we should avoid buying?
Avoid buying. Oh, my.
Or just tell them the website that they can go to.
Yeah, you can go to crueltyfree.org. I'm a cruelty-free ambassador. They have a fantastic list of detergents, soap stuff, scrubs, toothpaste, everything on there. I'm a big fan of Jouer makeup. It's this beautiful company that's totally cruelty-free, and it blends flawlessly, and Burt's Bees. Those are my go-tos.
And last question, please.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
It sounds like you were exposed to many different mediums of theater and the entertainment industry. Like when you started out, your mom was part of the Groundlings, and
She founded the Groundlings.
She founded
Yeah.
the Groundlings. I was just wondering what medium you found yourself most comfortable in, like film, theater, horror, comedy.
Oh, can I say D, all the above? It's for me, it's whatever character I can play. As soon as I can kind of get a shoulder behind that character and find something where I can do her justice to embody her, it's like heaven, you know? And whether it is on stage or in a horror movie covered in fake blood, or I hope fake blood, that's the right fit, I feel, for me.
And when can we see Carnage Park?
You can see Carnage Park on video on demand, coming out July 1st, and in New York, and then in LA on July 7th, select theaters.
Thank you so much for being here.